let me be, right? This is what I do for a living.
Wait, your mom younger than her?
How old is she?
How don't you know how old your mom is?
Not exactly.
Your dad 48?
46.
Okay, I won't go to sleep.
The sleep.
I don't want to go to. Why?
Yes, I got itis.
Itis.
Yes.
What's that?
God bless you all. God bless everybody as you all start to come in. God bless you. God bless you. I promise you I was going to come back on. Yes, I do have on my sleepies. I have on my jammy jams, but I'm just chilling. And I sleep in these jammy jams every night. And I love my jammy jams. We're going to talk about Moses tonight. We're going to talk about Moses, and we're going to talk about how certain things can't be hidden anymore. And it's something I'm actually going to enjoy talking to you all about it. As men and as women, first of all, I want to say this part right here first. When you get into dating and you get into a significant other or having, hello Jeff, God bless you. Everybody say hi to me too. Shoot, don't be shy to talk to me, the chocolate princess. Well, I'm not chocolate, but stop laughing, Cupcake. But I want to say something. So when I get ready to introduce a man to my children, my teenage sons and my sons, I have to introduce them, and I have to say, this is the man I want to be with. I have to, and a lot of other women have to get that in their head as well. When you start to tell your significant other about who you, or tell your children about your significant other, you have to just be honest, and you just have to say, listen, this is the guy I'm dealing with. This is the guy. He's going to be in my life for the rest of my life, so you guys have to pretty much get accustomed to it. This is a hard topic for me, but I'm going to try to deal with it. And a lot of women, you just introduce your children to anybody. So if you've dated 25 men, they've all met your children, whatever. I don't think that my children have met a man in a long time, like 15 years or something like that. I don't really know. But I want my oldest son and my son Jules and my son Joseph to pretty much get a feel for what I'm about to do. And so last night, something shocked me. Jewel, you okay? Jewel! Jules, you okay? And so last night, something shocked me. I went in the living room, and I'm not going to say no names. I'm not saying no names. I went in the living room, and my son Jules, without my permission, I didn't lead him to watch. I didn't lead him to go look at it. I didn't have nothing to do with what my son was watching. He went and started watching this pastor himself. He was like, Mom, look at him. Mom, look at him. Mom, look at this, what he doing. Look at him. And I was starting thinking to myself, now, why is he looking up that? Out of all the pastors, I haven't really said anything about him. He's like, look at him, Mom, look. And then he zoomed in on his shoes. I'm like, why is my son doing this? And I ain't gonna tell y'all what pastor it was, but my son Jules was watching him and looking at him. And I was like, wow. Well, I'll tell y'all who the pastor was. Let me see. Jewel, come here, babe. I want to ask you a question. Huh? You ain't in the bathroom. You're in the room. Just come here for 1 second. Well, since my other son is here, first of all, let me ask my other son, Christian, does he know any good pastors that he would like to watch? Christian, Jameer?
What?
So is any pastors that you watch?
Yeah, Prophetess Thompson.
No, not me. It got to be a man. It got to be somebody else.
I only mess with TD.
TD? Who is that?
TD.
Papa Jakes?
Yeah.
Okay, so my oldest son is saying that he only messes with TD, which is Papa Jakes. My other son, Joseph, and my daughter, Nariah, swear on everything that Bishop Noel Jones is the most intellectual bishop they have ever heard speak in their life. I took them, I was living in Texas, and I took them out to the Potter's house. And when I took them to the Potter's house, Noel Jones was there preaching. And my daughter Nia, my daughter Nariah, and my son Joseph said, Mom, he the best preacher I ever heard. Nariah, you sleep? So anyway, they, as far as the old school preachers and old school how they did things, that's what they came up with. All right. One says Papa Jake's, which is my oldest son, Christian. The other one says Noel Jones is. They even said that Noel Jones was a better preacher than Bishop Papa Jake's. I was like, are you sure about that? I mean, because Joseph heard Papa Jake's preach. I'm not trying to compare. I'm just telling y'all how kids talk. I'm into my kids. My kids are into me. And, of course, they're going to look at the part of my life that made them resent me for so long because I put my kids on the back burner to deal with a whole bunch of losers in the kingdom. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. And now I thank God that even though my kids were put on the back burner while I was doing ministry and pursuing God and pursuing, God gave me the hearts of my children back. But they know about this whole church thing. So anyway, my other son, Jules, he has somebody that he be watching. I goes in the living room last night. This ain't got nothing to do with it. And he was watching Pastor Jamal Bryan on TV. He was like, Mom, look at him, Mom. And he was looking at me. He was just watching jail. Oh, Jesus! I was like, I'm on the thing like, you know, I'm that behind his head. It's like, Mom, look at him. And I don't know what he was on Instagram looking or something. And I don't follow them on Instagram. None of them. I don't follow none of them on Instagram. Like, I'm hardly ever on Instagram for anything. To be honest, I have a lot of people blocked. I might not have them blocked on social media, but I have a lot of people blocked because I don't deal with a lot of stuff, y'all. But he was watching him. And I was like, wow, our kids really look. And so I'm thinking about how I can, if I should, or how I could introduce my children to a man of God that I want to be with, that I love, that I was in a relationship with, that I was just, and my sons are like very, like, not demanding, but very smart and classy, and I can't pull wool over their eyes. And so, Nariah, just 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Let me get my this. Hold on, y'all. I gotta check on Joseph. I want to ask you a question about who your favorite preacher is. Okay. So I went and got Joe, and Joe's going, come here, Joe. I want Joseph to tell you guys who his favorite preacher is. So, shoot. So who's your favorite preacher, Joseph? Now, wait, before I start. Now, when I first started this live stream, Joseph wasn't in the house. He doesn't know what I said to you guys or nothing. But people be thinking she hides her kids from church. She don't let her kids in. Joseph will tell you who his favorite preacher is. Who is it, Joe?
Like me? Like,
yeah, who is the
two.
You have two of them.
Yeah.
No, the one that you know that y'all all agreed. Y'all say I'm not gonna tell you what to say. Go ahead. Which one?
The person that we always go to.
Who?
I forgot his name.
Where is he at?
The 1 hour drive that we always do.
Where was we living at during that time?
Here.
The 1 hour drive.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Oh, you're talking about the prophet?
Yeah, the one that's... It's either him or Noel Jones.
Come closer. Come closer. Come closer.
I ain't know what Jones was doing.
So don't step in that. So he just now said, my son just now, Joseph just now said, my favorite preacher is, tell them louder because I don't want them to think I'm manipulating you. Say it loud. Say it loud, Joe. Who is it?
Noel Jones.
He said Noel Jones, and he said another man by the name of Dr. Kevin Williams.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
Dr. Kevin Williams. Dr. Kevin Williams is a man out of North Carolina. That's Joseph. Joseph said that they are his favorite preachers. And I told y'all before I even went outside to go get my son, that my son Joseph said that his favorite preachers were, because I don't let them listen to everybody. They don't really know.
Who did you say? Who did you say?
Noel Jones.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't mention Dr. Kevin Williams. But I do remember you said to me, Mom, that man can preach, Mom. That man can preach.
Yeah, I like Noel Jones.
And you said to me you thought that Noel Jones was a better preacher than...
He sounds like he's more experienced.
Hold on. Come here.
He's good, but he sounds like he's more experienced.
All right, come here. Just stand right there. Come closer so they can hear. Now you got to understand something. My kids are very intelligent kids. You don't got to get in the camera because you ain't really their dress. And I don't want nobody to judge me on that one. But listen, why did you say, let him tell y'all why he said Noel Jones is the better preacher. Hold on. Out of the mouth of babes. Go ahead, baby.
He's more pure and like more experienced. It sounds like he's more experienced. Stuff that he says is more experienced.
Stuff that my son is basically just an 11-year-old.
Noel Jones can touch your spirit, but Dr. Kevin Williams can get you healed.
Shandobo. And I named him. Wait a minute. And I named him Joseph for a reason. Now this is what he just said. This is my son. He only 11. He only kid. He's just a kid. He said Noel Jones, when Noel Jones teaches and when he talks, he said Noel Jones has more experience. He sounds like he has more experience.
Can I go down?
Yeah. And he said, but Dr. Kevin Williams can get you healed. Dr. Kevin Williams can get you healed. That was my son, and that's what he said. And then my daughter, if I was at Nia, please, baby, one time, please, because I just need input. And then we're going to deal with who I'll go with my first son, Papa Jake's. That's Christian. But come here, Nia, hurry up, please, baby. You got to say it loud so they can hear you. We're talking about the best preachers who kids love, teenagers like. What did you say the night that you heard that preacher in Texas? Come close. The one we was leaving, you was like, no, not Papa Jake's, the other man. All right, Narai, you up. Come here, Narai, because she. Now, one daughter is a straight honor student, and there is not a doubt in my mind that my daughter would go to Harvard on a full scholarship.
That was cute.
And she literally said when she heard Noel Jones talk and speak, she said, Mom, Narai, can you come here, please, so I don't have to fill in your words? They were literally discussing who was the greater. They wasn't so much worried about great preaching. They was okay. Tell them what you said about just
No press, please.
no press. All right, you don't gotta come to camera, but just say what you said about Noel Jones that night.
I said I don't like his preaching. I got bit up.
You like his preaching? Why?
I don't know.
And
Oh.
okay, so you said that night we was coming home. You said that I said you like his preaching better than Papa Jake's. No, and you said yeah. And I just didn't understand why. It shocked me. I just want your feedback.
Oh my God.
You said it's because he was very intelligent. You said it when he spoke. It was like he was very intelligent.
No, because I remember what he said. He said that people always worry about why God isn't working on their time, or
why God didn't do things as they wanted to. And he said that God probably has a whole other different concept of time than other people do, than humans do. That's what he said. And that was a really good way to think about it.
And that's why you were enamored by his message.
Yes,
And it had to have stuck with you because you remembered it. And I do not remember the message from that night.
I do.
Okay. So, all right. So that was my daughter, Naraya. And she said to me, what are you doing now? Jewel, come here. You're the only one got to be in the interview now. All right. And be mindful. Okay. So who you think is a good preacher?
No.
A good preacher? Jerry's the kind of toned down.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen?
Yes.
Why?
Because I just feel as though his word is pure.
His word is pure.
Yes, and his church is nice.
His church is nice. But why was you watch? What pastor was you watching when you was pointing him out to me last night on the phone?
Pastor? I was watching a pastor last night.
You was looking at him on the phone. You was like, Mom, look at this, look at this, look at this. Who? Tell the truth. Who was it?
Jamal Bryant.
Okay, now why were you looking at him?
Because he's a good preacher also.
And what do you like about Pastor Jamal Bryant's preaching?
No, it's like you can relate to it.
Or you can relate to him?
Yeah. And he connects the dots well in the sermon.
Oh, he connects the dots well in the sermon.
Yeah.
And so between Pastor Jamal Bryant and Joel Osteen, you think that Pastor Joel Osteen is a better preacher than Pastor Jamal Bryant, or are you just saying that they both are what? Because they're totally different.
It's really just how you view it. Because I'm pretty sure if Jamal Bryant had the same size church that Joel Osteen has, he'd be considered like the best pastor in the United States. But his church is not bigger than his at all. So it's all
But
about,
you actually like Jamal Bryant's preaching.
Yeah, yeah. I actually love the church.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. So that's my son, and shows you how private I am with my life and things I go through, because he just came in the room and said to me that Pastor Jamal Bryant, this is my son, not the one who he leans a little bit towards more like fuck like I mean like you're not talking like but that was to me. So all right. So he said that Pastor Jamal Bryant was a better preacher. He loved the way he preached, and he compared him to Joel Osteen, and he said, well, if Jamal Bryant's church was as big as Joel Osteen, he'll be termed as one of the greatest preachers in the world as well. So I'm just asking my kids. Now let's get back to my son, Christian, because Christian, please speak up. He says that his favorite preacher is Papa Jakes, which is T.D. Jakes, Thomas Jakes. Now, excuse me, can you tell me why you feel as though Papa Jakes is the best preacher?
Because Papa Jakes is the most wise, obviously. Papa Jakes been doing this since '84.
84?
When he start preaching?
Yeah, probably is around 84. I guess 40
when
years.
When he had the box fade.
Okay. All right. So can you stop it? Because stop kissing and answer. So what else do you like about Papa Jake's method of preaching? Why? Like, how do you relate to Papa Jake's? Like, why do you think, this is my medical student, by the way. Why do you think, or what do you think, why? I mean, why is Papa Jake's one of the greatest preachers to you? Is it just because he's Papa Jake's? You got to give me a method. You got to give me a reason. You got to give me an example of his style of preaching. Because why?
Because you used to go to Megafest every year.
Okay, so you're choosing Papa Jake's because I used to go to Megafest every year. All right. So my oldest son's saying because he's the wisest and because I used to go to Megafest every year, which that's true. Joseph? Nia, can you please get him? Okay, now we got to ask you, Cupcake, and you got to answer. Now, Cupcake, you might not know about black preachers or African American preachers, but I need for you to tell me who your favorite pastor is, preacher is, and why. You don't know not one? Have you ever been to church? Cupcake, not one? Now, oh, yo, hold on, y'all. Yo, Joseph. Where's Joseph at?
What is that?
You got to put on that thing? Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Hey, oh, I got to get Joseph in here. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. She cheating. All right, so my baby Cupcake. Come here, Cupcake. Cupcake, Chando Bosa. Now listen, we talking about greatest preachers. Now she's sitting there on my bed with her man. I'm asking, you don't know any preachers? Just one Cupcake. Well, of course you know me as a preacher, but besides me. So my son whispers in his fiance's ear, and she comes up with a name. Say it louder. So Cupcake says Cheryl Brady is the baddest preacher that she know. Now, Jamir, you know that you shouldn't have helped her cheat like that. But is she bad? She is one of the baddest preachers in America. Cheryl Brady, pastor of the River Church here in North Carolina. I don't even know how my son know about Cheryl Brady. How do you know about Cheryl Brady? How do you know? How do you know? Which is the spiritual daughter of Papa Jakes. She moved and relocated out to Texas to be a part of his church and his ministry, to house another church. And guess what, Cupcake? Is she black or white? Is she black or white? Huh? He cheated.
I didn't say nothing.
Get out of my room. You're underneath the prophetic cloud. You're underneath the prophetic cloud. Get out of you cheating. She's white. She's a white preacher. But I swear for God, she ain't. She white, but she's not white. Let me tell you, it's a different type. She's bad. Cheryl Brady is one of the most dynamic. She is parallel or almost equally to a woman by the name of Pastor or Dr. Jackie McCullough. You have to Google them. Jackie McCullough and Cheryl Brady are two of the most dynamic women preachers to have ever done what it is that we do. All right? So there we go for the greatest. There we go for the greatest. It is what it is. But my kids said all of that because they don't know about. They said all these names, but they never said my ex or my love, Dr. Liston Page. Why? Because I live a very private life. They don't even know it, and I don't tell them I don't tell them anything, and they've never heard him preach on nothing. So they have not been. They have never been able to see him or hear Liston Page ever. Because when you start to think about greatness in terms of preachers and from the platform, Dr. Liston Page Jr. is the baddest. He is one of the baddest to do what he do. He is, I'm not talking about from no educated point of view, granted. But Dr. Liston Page is bad at what he do. That's why I chose him and said I will marry him. He's bad, he's thorough, and I love how he does what he does. And my kids have never heard him. And they don't know anything about him. Because I keep a private life. And until I'm ready to introduce my kids to my significant other or a man that I'm considering marrying, I don't say nothing to them about it. There's another preacher, he died already, and he's a white preacher, white apostle. His name is I forget his name, but Dr. Carlton Pearson was talking about him when he was on Liston Page's show. He was talking about this white man. He was bad to the bone. I would say amongst the older crew, we already have established that those are amongst the greats for the older crew. I want to say another woman, just for you, Cupcake, because you're white, and it's fair that you know about these people, okay? There is a woman by the name of Dr. Paula White. She's a white preacher. She's bad. She is apostolic. She is apostle apostolic to the bone. And she's endorsed and supported by all Africans, You could Google her, show her. She's now works in the White House. She's bad. So I want you to know, just because of your ethnicity, just because of where you come from, it doesn't mean that you can't even evolve into a dynamic preacher. I'm serious, a dynamic preacher in my ministry or whatever. Because my son has a call on his life, but I'm not trying to ask him to answer that call. Do not. He got to do what he want to do. Right now, he's doing medical school. Y'all do what you do. But God can use you just like that. And she is bad. Her name is Dr. Paula White. She was given a great and mighty platform by Papa Jakes, which is TD Jakes. So he took her in as a spiritual daughter, and although she was white, he globalized her and made her international. And so that's why Dr. Paula White became who she is today. And once she became who she is today, she branched out, launched out. But then when she got in touch with Africa, Africa put her in the White House, basically by prayers, petitions, however you want to call it. So now she's like really spiritually untouchable because of her surroundings and because of who backs her. Okay? So as a white girl not filled with the Holy Spirit yet, you don't have to try to be anybody else or nothing like that. But if you ever want to step into ministry, you ever want to let God use you, allow God to use you. You understand? But I don't know who told him about Cheryl Brady. I don't know who told him about Cheryl Brady, but she's powerful. I never talked to my son about Cheryl Brady. Where did you get it from? Or did I? I mean, is it?
I know who Cheryl Brady is.
Huh?
How else do I know who Cheryl Brady is?
Yeah, but I don't remember talking to you about her.
You have to talk to me about her.
So you all could Google Dr. Liston Page Jr. right now. You could just Google him and just look him up.
The brown skin dude?
No, he's not brown skin. He's light. He's yellow.
Yeah, brown skin dude with the eyes.
No, his eyes ain't no funny color. He is bright yellow. You see him? Dr. Liston Page Jr., not the father, but the son. You could Google him.
So now you jealous of my mom because I want to post a picture of me and my mom?
Oh, where is it at? What? Let me see. Huh?
She said I posted you like 5 times already and then post her.
No, you post her and me.
Oh my, y'all, hold on. This reality TV, y'all. I got to go. Cupcake is on my bed. Cupcake is in my bed. She just told my son. She just said, "Yeah, but you already posted your mother. What about posting us?" And you know why she come. You know why she's saying that. So don't front. Why is she saying that, Christian? You know why she's saying it. It ain't because of me. So go ahead and put her on there too.
She always on there.
No.
Uh-uh.
If I was on there.
Y'all, I hope this isn't. Let me see. Did you put her on there? Y'all, I hope this ain't going to lead to another problem. Because it's I'm just, relational drama. Relationships are so hard. Huh? What you going to post? Just post a picture of her on there, Jamir. Just, you know what happened. So just stop. You love each other. When you love somebody, the love is public.
Ah, yeah, sure.
What? You guys, I think I'm going to have to end this live stream. They pretty much just now ruined my live mood talking about preachers. And after about 3 days with them, I've seen that relationships really are a lot of work. Even when I was with my ex, Dr. Liston Page Jr. Jamir, I never told you about him, but that's who he is. You can go look him up. He's a dynamic preacher, and he's really, really awesome at what he does. Now, I want to ask y'all one other thing. Who is your favorite gospel singer?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hezekiah Walker.
Hezekiah Walker?
Yeah.
What he sing?
What you mean?
What do Hezekiah Walker sing?
Grateful, 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 grateful. You know, I
Grateful.
need you to survive.
He don't sing that.
Yes, you do.
I can't go on and on and on.
Without your word.
Okay, all right. So his favorite singer is Hezekiah Walker. We all know my favorite gospel singer, female gospel singer, is Vicki Winans. Period. Point blank. Favorite male gospel singer is MVS, Marvin Sapp. It's just something about his anointing. So he's my favorite male singer. Next to him is Marvin Winans, and they is just, to me, they're the top of line. Secondly, for female singers is Leandria Johnson. These are people who I suggest, and people who, I think that most people should listen to. I don't believe in listening to preachers who don't have a testimony. I don't care how many degrees they have. I don't care nothing about that. If you don't have a testimony as a woman of God, I don't want to listen to you preach. You can't minister to me. You won't get through to me. I just be looking at you saying somebody gave you a door, open door. You ain't been through nothing. I've been through too much in my life to relinquish anything to anybody who has never gone through anything, and then they want me to listen to them as a preacher. No, if you want me to listen to you as a preacher or a prophet or anything, please show me your resume. Paula White got a message called Have you read my resume? She has another message entitled Can You Dig It? I need to know how many healings, how many deliverances. I need to know I need to see all of these things. I need you to have your testimony. Where was your heartbreak? Where was your pain? What did you go through? What did you endure? All right. There is another dynamic up and coming today. He's top of the line. When you start calling names of the greatest preachers, you get in trouble. But Dr. Matthew Stevenson, Jamir, I want you to start following Apostle Matthew Stevenson, Dr. Matthew Stevenson. You could Google him right now. I want you and Cupcake to start following him. He's very clean, very muscular. Just that whole beauty of an image of a man. And I want for you to follow him because you have like that same classy look, as a Dr. Matthew Stevenson. So I want Jewel to start watching Dr. Matthew Stevenson and following him.
Who?
His name, go ahead and look him up. His name is Dr. Matthew Stevenson.
There she goes. All over,
And here's Maddie looking too.
all over social media.
Well, Jamir, I would be mad too because sometimes I'm just being honest. Don't play with me. I want to be on every single photo with a man too. Before me and my ex broke up, can somebody check on Joseph?
He's fine. If something was happening, we would scream.
So for everybody who don't know what this topic is about, this is just me having a discussion with my children and my teenagers. And did you see Dr. Matthew Stevenson?
Mm-hmm.
Where's he at?
I saw him already.
Let me see. Dr. Matthew L. Stevenson.
I saw him.
Did you see him, Maddie?
He took my phone.
Why did you take her phone?
Come on.
Good evening, Aunt Arch. Good evening. Good evening. Y'all. Just a minute. Give her phone. Give her phone. Y'all snatch each other's phones all day. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. But y'all, I was in the middle of talking to my kids about the preachers they like to listen to what type of preachers, what type of pastors they like this. So it wasn't scripted. It's not scripted. I was just talking to them, and they were talking to me about what pastors and what men of God from the old time school blessed their lives. And so my oldest son said Papa Jakes was a person who basically blessed his life as far as ministry. And then he whispered into the ear of his fiance, Dr. Shaw Brady, was another person who impacted his faith and his belief systems. And he got it from me. And you'll be surprised how kids stalk you and listen to who you listen to. When he was being raised, I was raising him, rearing him up. I would listen to Dr. Jackie McCullough, and I would listen to Cheryl Brady, and that's the truth. And I went and visited Cheryl's Brady Church many times while living in North Carolina. But I just asked my kids who they felt was effective preachers. My son Jules said Pastor Jamal Bryant and Joel Osteen. That's what he said. I did not tell my kids to say. Nariah and Joseph and Nia all said Noel Jones was their favorite preacher, and so they all gave reasons why. What really blesses me is that the ones, my children that are intellectuals, they chose to go in Noel Jones' direction, and my kids, my oldest son chose to go with Papa Jakes, and then Cupcake decided to go with Cheryl Brady because he told her to do that. But I introduced them, and I said I wanted them to follow somebody because I think it's good for the youth. I think it's good for the youth. I would suggest Dr. Crystal Caffo, but my kids aren't really into that type of ministry. They're not into the prophetic. They have run from that, and because they are resident prophets, I don't force that on them. So I don't make my kids deal with no level of prophetic anything. My son woke up this morning, my oldest son, and started telling me his dreams, and I just act like I didn't even hear him because I don't want to pressure him in that area. And every day they have the resident anointing. I think that it's very important. I want to say this real quick. It's very important for all of you to sit down with your kids and start to get some information with them and find out what they look like, what they're looking at, what they're watching. Find out what men of God they respect or what men of God they think is this or that. So just think about it, because I didn't manipulate my kids to like all the stuff I've been through. I literally can't. But my son, if in order to save his, if that's who he reverence or he thinks is a good preacher, fine, and go ahead. Because if somebody, you gonna listen to somebody. That's the honor of a woman. That's the honor of a mother. You don't defame a pastor or a preacher that's ministering and speaking. You okay, Cupcake? I gotta go. There it's obviously another argument. Just 1 minute. Y'all want me to end the live stream or y'all want to stay right there? You can stay right there, do whatever. Give me 1 second. What did you do to her? Cupcake, you okay? Oh, she crying. Why do you take her phone from her? You a fake Cupcake. What? Cupcake. It's not cold to me. Cupcake, you know I'm going to run to your aid every time. Jamir, what is y'all doing? Seriously.
I'm talking about ask Joseph.
What did he do, Joe? What Jamir do?
He was hanging off the whole thing out there.
Jamir, you're a bully. Jamir, you're a big bully. Come on back in the room then, Cupcake. I mean, y'all immature.
Stop.
Y'all immature.
Stop Tina.
I didn't do anything. I came to get my jacket.
Why are you calling her Tina? That's not her name.
Because I'm playing.
Oh.
Good.
I'm done. Oh my God. Y'all, I'm done. If y'all enjoying it, I'm loving it too. So anyway, this is why I can't focus and I have not been on it. Excuse me, Jamir, can you stop wrestling in the house? You're too old for that. He is a bully. So I'm trying to do a live stream, and for those of you who are just tuning in, I was talking to my children, which is a younger generation, which they term to be Generation X. I was talking to them about who can impact them, who has been a positive impact on them as far as ministry is concerned. But the most dangerous thing is this. This is the most dangerous thing. My son Jewel is the prophet. I mean, one of them could be a seer, seeing. But my son Jules is the one who is the prophet. He can sit down and sit in front of you and go on and on and on and on and never stop prophesying. And everything he prophesies will happen in a year, 4 months, 3 months, might happen the same day. He's dangerous. And he is the son that has taken me through. Even if you look at my son's pictures, you can see, any prophet can see the differences between this and this. You can see the difference between my sons. We have to start to ask our children who they. Now it was amazing because my daughter Naraya strapped the back. Dad, Noel Jones is really great. I mean, he's really, really great. And what she doesn't know is that before I ever gave birth to her, before I even had her, I was working at a hospital. I was working at South Jersey Hospital. And when I was working at South Jersey Hospital, it was a prayer CD. It was a CD that I would put in, and it was Noel Jones, and it was a cassette tape, and I would play it over and over and over and over again of his sermon, his message. And so we can't lie about this old generation. They're older and they're going out of style, but we can't deny the fact that great is great. And when you look at from an intellectual standpoint, I can stand right here in front of you and I can preach like Noel Jones because I know his mannerisms. I know how he does what he does. Now, all of his vocabulary and the words he uses, maybe I have to chop those words down. But Noel Jones is the dripping oil of the anointing. You cannot get, he is the dripping oil. His anointing is wet. He is Noel Jones. For me, when I was coming up, he was tops. Nobody was above him. Nobody. Now, the difference between Noel Jones and Papa Jake's is Noel Jones deals with Matthew. He's an expert in dealing with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which is the New Testament. And that's something that I don't really care to really, I mean, I love the New Testament, but I'm big on the Old Testament. But when he teaches it or he preaches it, he makes me want to look at the Old Testament more. He is Noel Jones 20 years ago, just all that. Papa Jake's to me, was one of the most dynamic papas because he draws pictures, and I love for people to draw pictures with their words. When you can draw a picture, and I'm a visionary and I'm visual more than I am kinesthetic or I am audible, I'm a visual learner. So when you put a preacher or a minister in front of a visual learner, and they can paint like a Picasso in front of your face of the Holy Scriptures. And then the Old Testament, they just, oh my God. Papa Jake's preached a message before, and the message was the mystery of the red heifer. He also preached another message, doing it, and you got to do it in the presence of beast, I mean, these messages, a man has impacted your life or your ministry when Stop it. When nobody has to remind you of what that sermon was. Because they are just that powerful and just that great. My favorite message that I ever preached was God's rolling the stone away. Talking about when the 3 companies and the 3 groups flocks of hers had to come out, and Rebecca was coming out with her father's sheep. I preached that message. That is one of my favorite messages that I've ever preached in my life. And how Jacob met up at the right time when that stone was being rolled away. And then the mouth of the well. I mean, I ripped through that. Joseph? Is he behaving? So, let me see if there's any other men of God that preach that I'm missing. Never been a fan of nobody like Creflo Dollar. I've never. Christian, come here for 1 minute. This is not no Maddie. This is me. I got to answer one more question. Okay. Well, when he comes back out, he can't hear me. He's in the bathroom. But when he comes back out, I'm going to have him tell you guys how when I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, I was living in College Park. That's where Creflo Dollar's church was. I didn't want to be at no Creflo Dollar church. Creflo Dollar's church to me was just not for me. It just was not for me. So when I was living in College Park, Georgia, and add this to Diary of a Prophetess. I got my own TV show now, so whatever. Just add this to Diary of a Prophetess. I'm just talking to y'all, giving you my life's journey. When I was living in College Park, Georgia, I went to Creflo Dollar's church 2 times. I lived 5 minutes from him. His church was right there. My house was right here. My house right there, gas station right there. My cul-de-sac was right there. All you had to do is cross the street. So what I would do is make my sons, my 2 oldest sons, I would make them go over there to church. Just walking there, just making sure they was there, even though I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be at church. The church I joined, well, I didn't join, but the church I went to, and I was there all the time. I would drive all the way out to Lithonia, Georgia, and I would literally go to the man of God. He already passed away. Jesus. How could I forget his name? That's a shame. The dead are soon forgotten. Eddie Long. I would go to Bishop Eddie Long's church, and I would drive there, and I would just go down and just go into the church and just sit there and just go there for Bible study, and I would go there on Sundays. And it was only like from College Park to Lithonia was like 45 minutes. So I would just always go there to church, go in there, have a seat, just sit down. It was real fresh, real open, real clean. And I really liked going there to that church. And I think that the thing that I really liked about Eddie Long's church, when I used to go to his church, it wasn't just his sermons, but it was the fact, I remember when one time I went there, I visited his church, and I know he was a great preacher because I remember a message he preached, Popeye the Cellar Man. And when he preached Popeye the Cellar Man, it was freaking dynamic. I couldn't even forget it. And the reason why I could not forget it is because although he was up in the platform preaching it, I had been dealing with Popeye the Cellar Man the whole week in private studies. So when he got up and started talking about Popeye the Cellar Man eating that spinach, and he would get strong after he would eat that green, basically that message stuck with me. That was one of the messages he stuck. Papa Jakes also went to his church and preached a message called the Curse Breaker, the Curse Breaker. In any event, I'm saying all that to say this. You have to go to the church that's going to equip and empower your soul. You have to go to the church that is going to make you want your Bible. You got to have ministers and preachers standing before you that give you, they're not spending all their time tearing down another preacher. But when I open up this word of God, keys float before me. I love the word. I don't have time. I never forget I heard Bishop Noel Jones preach a message. And when he was preaching, he preached a message. I think it was Preaching 101. He talked about that. And he was at Papa Jake's church when he preached it, 20-something years ago. I think it was 20 years ago. I'm 44 years old. I might not look old, but I've been around some time. And he said, you never ever get in a pulpit and begin to preach and then use all of your time in that pulpit, directing all of your sermon to one person or in the church that you want to fight or argue with. He said, you don't do that. You use discipline and you preach the message. You know a man is a great preacher. I don't have no notes in front of me. This is not scripted. I'm not reading from a teleprompter. He also preached another message Noel Jones did, and I think it was one of his greatest messages that he ever preached. The message was called Sit on Me, God. Sit on Me, God. Lord have mercy, Jesus. When he preached that thing, and you know, if a person, a pastor, is really relevant based on what you remember that they spoke or they preached. If you can't remember nothing they ever preached, they done stood before you. They done stood before you for 30, 45 minutes. And when they done, you don't remember nothing they said. Nothing. That's not a good preacher. I don't even care if they got degrees. I don't even care what. If they don't have a demonstration of God's power and God's anointing and God's oil when they stand up to minister, it's like they're ineffective. I would never suggest, because I love my sons dearly, I would never ever suggest that my children follow anybody who's going to defile them and going to hurt them, because I've been hurt by the church for so long. That's why when I was going into the hurt and I knew that I would be attacked every week, my kids weren't going into nobody's churches. No, you was attacking me. You weren't going to hurt my kids. My kids have an innocent, pure view of Jesus, God, and the church, because I would never subject them or their gifts to homosexuality. I would never subject my kids to preachers who abuse people from the pulpit. You don't even got enough of your right mind to stand up in the pulpit and talk without going off on somebody you jealous of. You mad. You mad because you can't control them. What does a hair weave have to do with a sermon? And I wouldn't subject my children to that. I just now told my children who I think they should watch. And this is our first time I ever said, because they're young, they're youthful. I said, go to Matthew Stevenson. Matthew L. Stevenson is bad. He bad. And I don't share him on my page. He's bad. In God, he bad. Put your children in churches as pupils, underneath of leaders who are coherent, cognizant, and they're not going to damage your child or damage your teenagers because they're going through something psychologically. Would I have ever told my children after I found out what I found out about certain preachers to go there? No. Absolutely not. I'm not going to let them hurt my kids. You would have to be a fool to let your kids go to a church, an environment, a boot camp, a community, an environment where they're going to be hurt. If you want your sons to... No. Put that down. If you want your sons to be hurt, send them to the military. They get hurt the right way. You don't never let your kids be in an environment where they're going to... Let me tell you how serious I am about my children. I don't know. I didn't drink no water. I never touched that. No, you should watch what you're drinking off of. I would never let my kids go to a place where they're going to be abused. And I would never let my children go to a church where the pastor said, my sons are strict. They like girls. They like women. I'm not letting my kids go to a church and I don't want them smoking weed. I don't want them doing drugs. I'm not letting my children go sit down before a man who's constantly telling them I'm on drugs, or I sleep with other men, or I don't want to be faithful to one woman or one wife. I said Dr. Matthew L. Stevenson because he is the epitome of pristine and clean. And I would like my son could easily come under the mentorship of a man like that. He's young, he's savvy, he's sophisticated. He is the word of God. I mean, he anointed. The first time I ever saw him, God showed me he was a pharaoh. Now he probably would refute that, but I'm the prophet from out. I know he was a literal pharaoh, the ones with that gold on, and with that thing that be right there. That's how I saw him, like an Egyptian prince.
Can I get some of this?
And that was years ago when I was back at
Can I get some of this?
Not right now. No, not right now.
Okay.
So I'm seeing all this right here to say this. We as women, even as Lemuel or Bathsheba instructed and trained her sons, I train and instruct my sons, and you all should too. You should maneuver and not manipulate, but just suggest. Just, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, I think because believe it or not, our kids ask us a lot. What do you think? Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And we tell them. I've never once told, my son did an interview. I never once told my son that Donald Trump was ignorant. I don't speak like that in front of my kids. I never said it. He saw it for himself. And then my son said, well, Mom, he's racist and he's ignorant. My son said that. He came up with that. He really concluded during the first debate when a president would not renounce white supremacy. Now, I got to also say this. Is there such thing as black supremacy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Black supremacy. White supremacy. Oh, yeah. Black people got a lot of power now. I don't know what y'all talking about. Black people got a lot of power. Black people got so much power, you can't even mention the nigger word. Black people got so much power, you better not even never say nothing derogatory in a bank, in a library, about nothing. Because instantly sewers open up and you be like, oh, this, and the race card is pulled. So although black people have not received reparations and they have not received all of the due justice or received all of the inheritance that they were supposed to receive, black people got a lot of power and a lot of protection. All right? So, to make a long story short, the message was, can no longer be hidden. And I didn't even get to the text to read it tonight, but I was going to read out of the text where Moses was hidden for 3 months. Pharaoh put out an edict to kill all the boys. And literally, his mom put him in a basket, shipped him up the river, put him in the realm of the spirit, trusted him, put him in the hands of God, allowed him to be pitched in the ark, and shipped him up to purpose and power and prosperity and leadership. And when you see, Moses' mother was not a witch. She was not into witchcraft. Turn it down. Whoever got that on, turn it down. In fact, turn it off. And so she didn't want to be in control. She said, she just released Moses. Released him. Sometimes you got to be anointed enough to release something and not try to control it. I'm not here to tell my kids what to do about certain things. And I never want to get in my son's ears or my daughter's ears and make them think that my God is not real and what my God can do is not real. And although there are a lot of jacked up preachers, I don't want to be the mother to tell my sons and my daughters, nah, don't listen to them. No, don't have nothing to do with that. Kids are intelligent. I watch, and I don't have no grudges against nobody. Really, I don't. I just don't deal with some people. I don't have no grudges. I'm just never going to deal with them again. I'm not going to deal with them. And I don't mind sharing preachers I believe in. I don't mind. I'll share them on my page. But when it looks like I'm promoting somebody that I don't believe in, somebody I know who's crooked, I'm going to delete any shares I got on my page concerning that person, because I don't want y'all who follow me and I have to live this life. I don't want you to think that I'm endorsing that. So it's not that I'm shady. It's not that I'm moody. I'm not going to endorse it. And I'm not asking you. I've found I have more power. I've had more power standing alone than trying to be joined and unified with a dirty circle or clique or group. I stand alone, and it has literally given me so much access to so many different, and I didn't have to do it by clicking up. I didn't have to do it by becoming part of a subgroup or a subculture. I didn't have to Do it by doing it Sigma Phi Sigma or no fraternities. Joseph, the only thing I had to do was just link up with God. And there's not one major bishop who does not know who I am. I'm known, well known. And I didn't click up with nobody. Never been introduced by nobody to say, this is my spiritual daughter. Never, on no level. But the power of God that rests on me and the things I've gone through and the light that shines on my life and the transparency and the realness has what made Papa Jakes knows me. Noel Jones. Jay, I'm known. And I'm known for this. Flawless, pristine, and I will tell your black behind about yourself so they might call that a little crazy. Because in this lifetime, when you never disrespect people who are responsible for paying your rent. You don't disrespect people who are responsible for paying your bills. So they're in a circle, so they can't go against their circle. Not for God, not for man, not for nobody. They can't go against their circle because their circle pays their rent. Their circle is so overrated. It puts them on, makes them clicked up. Oh, be seen with this person. Be seen with that person. They have a Saul mentality and a Saul complex. They know they've been rejected, but please be seen with me, prophet. I can't get over. See, this is the reason why I can't get over certain things in ministry. I can't get over it because I was there. I saw when you see a person calling people Pokemons and faggots and it's just like this other person I heard about. I ain't saying no names because I ain't gonna get in there. But you're the one who abusing and you're the one set the person up, setting people up, and then you're the same person who's defiling them. Lord, that's the epitome of insanity. In psychology, in child psychology, we call it role play. We call it the highest level of manipulation, deception. It's like a person who goes out front, you the whole time you preaching. Okay, it's like me. Say this. Everybody who follow me know I'm big on life. I do not believe in abortions under no circumstance. And I'm coming on here and definitely during political seasons, I push the agenda of no abortion big time. And everybody know I stand for that. And then I get pregnant by a bishop. And because I don't want the baby going to inconvenience me. And I don't want to deal with him no more. I say, yo sis, go with me to Atlantic City real quick. Go with me to Newark real quick. Go with me to New York real quick. Let me get this abortion real quick. This low key. Don't let nobody know. Just let me get this abortion. Now for all the time, I keep preaching pro-life. Me and my ex, he said this to me, and I believe him. He said, married or whatever, if you had my baby and we had a baby together, I'm going to do right by you. Do right by our baby and do right by you. You would never have to worry about that with me. Was Liston telling the truth? I believe he absolutely was. Because even under all the heat and fire he done took, because I'm a piece of work. Even under all the fire that he done took, he could be worse with me because I know how wretched his mouth could be. He's not that bad with me after a breakup. He just don't agree with certain things that I do. First of all, when I was dating Dr. Liston Page Jr., my life, my story, my truths, so y'all get out my face. He said this to me. And I just want him to just be honest about this part, and maybe I would have listened to him. Don't be talking about education because you want me to get a degree to preach. That's not what you really want me to do, sir. Sir wanted me to, he said this to me. You're just to sit back and be my wife. My beautiful, lovely wife. Make love to me, be there for me, cook my dinner. I come home, all this out in the front stuff, that's over. That's basically his whole principle. So when he couldn't control me in that area, then he goes to take it to the next level. No, I just want you to know what you're talking about. Come on. Maybe if you was putting it down that night, maybe if you was doing what you're supposed to do as a man, a lot of you men, I wouldn't be preaching, okay. You can't control somebody. You all the way over there, I'm all the way. We in the household? Yes. Now, would I ever suggest my kids to Dr. Liston Page? Well, if I'm marrying them, they will know them anyhow. But the only good thing, because everything good, but we got this one, everything good, but we got this one issue right there. This one issue. This one issue with me and my man until I feel like saying he ain't my man no more. Because he'll be my man until I don't want him to be my man no more. And I know that's God. We got this one problem. That individual. I don't want my kids, I don't want my family to think that this is all right. Is Liston Page an excellent man for my children? Does he promote education? Absolutely. Do I? Did my son just get accepted into Princeton? Oh, God. Accepted for medical programs after he just finished at one college? Is my one son going to college? Are they enrolling all this? Am I family oriented, educated, all that? Am I about that life? Of course. But your circle, sometimes your circle's so dirty. I'm not about to introduce myself, my sons to stuff that is detrimental to society, to the biblical culture, what we believe. Your circle jacked up. And our kids don't need to hear nobody promoting drug use. I don't want to chase my son up and down the road and he's saying, I saw the pastor say it's okay. I can't do that. I need to sleep at night. And the last thing our teenagers and our sons need to hear is for somebody saying, yeah, you go and get high. I don't want to know. Joseph. So you promote who you want to promote. You teach your kids to go this way, go that way, go that way. Another man. I didn't share him because I didn't want them to know. I didn't really want to listen to all I was watching. But Clarence E. McClendon can sit, and Clarence E. McClendon and Dr. Carlton Pearson can sit down and talk to all three of my sons. I would let my sons sit down with Dr. Carlton Pearson, intellectual, very clean cut, sophisticated, savvy, anointed, anytime. He just wouldn't be able to talk to them about hell. And Dr. Clarence E. McClendon, look at his sons, look at him. Period. Anybody who knows me know how I am about my sons, my children. I'm going to put my children around and in front of people who are top tier, they're excellent. I think I just said too much. I got to go. Y'all got jacked up kids because your kids been playing the drums in the wrong church. Y'all got jacked up children because your kids been in the wrong atmosphere with people who act like they had a deliverance ministry, had a prophetic anointing, and they didn't have none. And instead of them getting a deliverance, they got demon possessed. I would never marry my husband, a man to God, no matter where he from, whatever. I would never ever play with my husband. I would never play with our flock. I would never stand up in that platform, forget a freaking degree with some paperwork because you have sat down for some credits. I would never ever in my life play for 1 minute with the souls in the camp. I would never ever stand there beside my husband and play church when people's children are in there. And I would never ever boast about being a single mother and having sex before marriage as if it's beautiful and it's cute. It's disgusting. And it's not right. And I'm not here to defile people's children. I'm here to motivate them and make them go to a clean path. Too many people have played with people's children, played with people's lives. This thing we do for the kingdom got to be real. My son standing in that bathroom right there. You know why he respect me the way he do? Because he ain't seen a nigga in my bed. And if he did, he was 5 years old. I'm 44. He 24 years old right now. And how old is his mother? 44. My kids didn't see that. And I ain't got to tell no lie. They ain't see me smoking, drinking, doing no. Yes, they did. I'm sorry. I smoked the black and mild. Shut up, Nara. I heard you laughing. But they ain't see that. And my son Jewel, he was only like 2 years old. He made a mistake. I made a mistake and let him see me in the bed with my last 2 kids' father. What, 12 years ago. And he walked in the room. I couldn't hide nothing because he was there and he saw us. But I never let my kids be seeing me. They didn't really see me in the bed with their dad like that. They didn't see that. Because I lived a life, baby. And I never wanted to look my kids in the eyes and see them hurt and pain because a man raped them, a man defiled them, a man used them, a man abused them, or a man beat me in front of them. My Mr. Carter cussed more than one time around them kids. Over. You mad about that? Not in front of our children. And I remember I asked my listening because we was talking about marriage. And he needed to know this anyway. I was like, you would never go off around the baby or not like that, right? We talking about we having a baby. You wouldn't go off around our son like this. You wouldn't go off, right? Because he would be with me and far away from you. And that would be a problem because he would try to do his own thing. I don't play this around children and teenagers. The day you correct your situations and your platforms, your churches as it pertains to your children and how you present in front of them, how you behave in front of them, that's the day this society will get better. It'll get clean. Because it ain't clean because you keep putting defiled things in front of them. You keep putting profane things in front of them. You keep putting debauchery and homosexuality and all these types of sins and sicknesses, mental illnesses in front of them. And then you think that they will become a replica or a representation of what they have consumed and what they've seen and what they've eaten. John Mayer Cupcake, get out that bathroom. What y'all doing? Make sure you ain't in there fornicating in here because they sure been in that bathroom for a long time. I love y'all. I gotta go.
Is there any soap?
Huh?
So I can wash my hands. Oh, my stomach's up there.
Oh, I don't know where it's at. Y'all bought you bought your own and then put it in there. It's in there. I can't do that. I'm in the middle of live stream. But I want you guys to think about what I said tonight. When I'm in front of my children, I promote politics. I promote education. I promote Bible excellence. I'm not the perfect woman. But I do this to make sure they come out straight. Okay? Do I yell? Do I have to say things to them sometime to hurt them? Absolutely. Because if I don't say it to them, somebody else going to say it to them. I try to tell the correct truth. Narai, go get your brother. Please. I gotta go, y'all. Love you all. Peace out. When you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. I want people to know better and do better. It's not about big time names or nothing like that when it comes to preachers. They just happen to see that, and it just so happened to that I literally ended up dealing with this circle. I don't want to be in the circle. I'm not in the circle. I swear to God, I'm not in the circle. But I'm a halo above it. I'm not in no circle. I don't do no cliques. I don't do schisms and isms and sororities. I renounce sororities. I renounce things that make people make pacts to allow children to be abused and allow wives to be abused. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. I deal with Jesus. Who is that? I gotta go. Peace out, y'all.